So this is going to be a hobby update for all the bits and bobs, and I didn't realize it was over a month now since I did an update. And I sometimes, I think I've said this before, I have to go back and rewatch the other video to remember what I've done to talk about the new stuff. But this stuff is all kind of in the same vein as the last one, which is that the Minotaur with the in the last video with the oil paints. That was really happy with the results. Hey Paul, how's it going, man? We got there eventually. This might have not been my first time testing the stream, but anyway. So these guys were all mutants and monsters and basically chaosy fellas that were built on top of these plastic, super cheap plastic, absolutely horrible looking army men. If these were in Toy Story, these would be the, equivalent to that creature in Alien 3, that says kill me or whatever. But these guys, this tub, I think it was about €1 or €1.50 in pound shop. And I kind of feel like I wish I bought more of them. But they're really cool, and I've just been building on top of them. So like these guys are like the basic, what you start with, and I've just kind of hot glued them to bases and chopped their heads off and stuff. Like literally, you could do the same thing with anything. It could be a really simple armature. It doesn't even necessarily have to be these little army men, but they're just kind of ready made to scale to some degree. Do you know what I mean? That's 28mm kind of orky looking fella, and it fits in pretty good. So they've been absolutely chopped to bits and different bits stuck onto them and given weapons and stuff like that to be, hey man, how's it going, Craft Control? How's it going, man? And just to be, it's Jesus, it's hard to actually pay attention when you're streaming. It's crazy. Respect to the streamers for sure. But yeah, so these army men have just been built on top of, and chaos is kind of the get out of jail card for going mental and doing whatever you want. This guy's probably the most standard, evil looking fella, basically looks like Grim Reaper with a horse head or maybe a ram head. And this is the first one I made. Just loads of textures on it, really fun. Kind of going down that grim dark kind of alley with being influenced by a lot of fellas on Instagram and all that, Turn Up 28 and kind of that kind of zone of the hobby, and loads of texture and little disgusting bits. And if you want to see work in progress of these, I have it on my Instagram for just different materials and stuff. Once you put the paint on them, they really come together. Like this is literally the Halford spray, the best undercoat I think I've ever found. And I think Scruffy Crow on YouTube put me onto that, or he was talking about it. And then there's the Halfords in town, so I just went for that, and it's class stuff. It's really good. It's about 11 or 12 euro, but it's absolutely class. This guy's got the trademark arse as well. But this is just a load of chaos, guys. Just another regiment. I thought I had a bit of fun making that mushroom fella regiment, and they were all basically made out of scrap as well. So that's what these guys are going to be, for no game in particular, just for fun. This guy actually looks pretty rank and file, you know what I mean? And a lot of the pieces, right? The little detailed pieces were casts from other miniatures or from toys. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's one that I'm making. Where is he gone? He's actually up here. And he's got two faces. He's got like two animal faces put together, two dog faces. And the dog face was cast from a little toy using blue stuff, or thermoplasty, I think it's called. And this stuff is class. I've been going mad on this stuff. I had it for ages, but I never really used it for anything. And I've just got an absolute ball of casts from different things. Like that's a cast from one of my own faces that I sculpted. It didn't come out perfectly, but it's okay. What's this one? Can we even tell? Some kind of dragon head. There's some really good ones. Like there's some Necromunda bases, but these are quite cool. Like there's a squeak face because you can never get too many like sweet teeth. And man, they come out so crisp. I've tried it with green stuff, but I find epoxy sculpt is better. And I'd say Milliput is quite good as well. It just seems to get the really crisp cast. Like, okay, I picked up the same one twice. There is better ones in here, or little animals and all sorts of different things. Like that's just from a toy. Like that's a fox's face, and you put eyes on it. You can really, it depends on the detail. So I'm going around looking at toys kind of differently now again, because you can reuse them. It's not just one bit anymore. You literally cast them, and you've got loads of different bits from it. But that's kind of something else I've been into, and that's kind of put me onto making these guys. So this guy's face was originally a cast from a different mini. I think it's from Chaos Dwarves, a Mantic set. Abyssal Dwarves, I think they're called. And that was his face, and then I gave him new teeth and his claws and his kind of disgusting body. I have no idea what it is, some kind of chaos, weird beast. But the way they're painted up with the black and the white, these are literally I'm just gonna paint on top of these with oil paints then again, and they should hopefully come out something looking like this. These were some sci-fi-ish looking fellas that I did just as an experiment, and they're quite colorful, which I actually really like for a change. And they were painted the same, so you spray them the grade, and they have the black for any shadows or anything like that, and the highlights are all white. And then over that, you just go a bit mad with the oil paints, and it doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of the time, but I think it looks cool. The heads are from Ramshackle Games. They're actually quite cool. Some kind of beastie looking guys, and the bodies are orcs and other bits and bobs. I'm not even really sure. And this guy, same thing again. His eyes were a bit whack, to be honest. They look a bit fucked up, but the extreme highlights I think is quite cool. Using the oil paint and the white as well. I think that's quite cool. Just trying to mix the materials, like you see here. He's got this kind of, what would you call it? This is the wipe, the baby wipe that I've been using for all sorts. It's the same as this guy's cloak. Just saturated in PVA or like Mod Podge or whatever. And that's what is over his shoulder. So that's kind of them. I've put some paint on. These guys were in the last video as well. It's a pretty simple paint job, but same thing again. I think the oil wash really saved it and made it kind of pop. What the heck is that? I don't know. And same with this guy. It's the caterpillar, I actually cast his face as well, and I was afraid it might break, but it actually came okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I've cast some of those foams as well because I was going to make more, and then I ended up casting them with the blue stuff here, and they came out okay. They came out okay. They came out usable, I think. Like this guy, I need to give him a new tail and fix him up a wee bit. But I feel like if you put mud around him or muck, like obviously they're, pincers and stuff are going into the mud and going into the earth, so it's not so bad. And that was another one that was sculpted just so I could cast them, I think. But as you can see, super simple. Like that's any type of polymer clay will do that. Act the same basically. And the eyes are little bits from what would you say? Nail art, I think they're called. And they are actually just like little white or little glass balls, little glass, what do you call it, beads almost. And they're fucking handy. Like, I'm just trying to see if I can get the screen up on another screen, but it should be okay. But anyway, what else is going here? This guy is actually class, right? This guy is of oh my god, what is it? The Still Tower from Instagram sent me on this, and literally I think I have to give him a few bob for it, but the Still Tower makes like really, really crisp and clean lino prints. I think they're lino, they're prints anyway, on Instagram, and really nice artwork. But he sent on this guy, and it is, you have to basically put clothes on him. So his name is Willie, and from my kind of, hey, bottom text, how you doing, man? But basically, it is another arse. Like, what is that? Is this trademark arse? But you're to redress this guy. This guy's name is Willie, and you're to dress him. So my idea was to not basically to dress him, but to change him up. So he's obviously screaming here, change his emotion a little bit, and you can see I chopped his willy off. And the idea is that there is a squig got a hold of his junk there. So there's a squig hanging out of his meat and two veg, and he's just kind of like, what the what the fuck do I do here? So that's the idea. I'm sculpting his hand down here. His hand's gonna be holding the squig, and he's gonna be holding his head or his helmet in distress. And yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? And the squig's got a hold of his balls. So I think that's going to be the first, let's say, set of testicles I'll sculpt. I think, if I remember correctly, which is kind of surprising actually, considering how long I've been doing this. That's the idea with this guy, and then I'll paint them up. And like he was naked, and I feel like he's somewhat orky with his design, or like a digger or whatever, one of those guys. So I was like, okay, that's going to happen. If I'm going to have him, Squig's going to grab onto his bits and bobs. What else do I have? These were other bugs that I'd cast. So I was on like kind of a watching obviously Ghibli movies and what is it, Nausicaa and Valley of the Wind and that kind of thing, and all these little buggy guys were super simple little sculpts. I think I sculpted one guy from green stuff and those little balls again to make the eyes, and then cast a lot of them. I think I made 3 bases and then I cast the whole bases. And some of them, obviously, you can tell this is a cast because a lot of them are digging underneath the earth here. Whereas is maybe the ones that were not cast originally are a little bit, they look a bit better, but altogether as a swarm, I think they look pretty good. And they're so simple to make. Like this blue stuff is so cool. I think I said before that like I've had it for ages, but never really used it to its full potential. Like that's a Squig's head there, as you can see, and you mix up your epoxy sculpt. What I have seen that helps is if you put some Vaseline into the mold first, like let's say brush it around just a little bit, and then put your stuff in. It does help. No, man, I'm not craft control. No, I'm not going to sell the cast, man. Like, I mean, literally, I think these are pretty shitty looking, to be honest. But I wouldn't buy them, is what I'm saying. I think they look pretty shitty. And to cast something properly, you'd want to have a little bit more of a setup. Like, I think looking into it, that literally says test stream. I wrote that earlier on. Fuck. If you look into like who's it miscast and stuff there recently casting his own stuff, and he makes it look easy. He does have pressure pot and all this kind of stuff. Or even Curtis and Ramshackle that I've talked to before. His setup, he's got gear to do it properly, and I think you could do it if I was to get the stuff that you make the cast out of silicone, which is a potential to have a go at, but I don't think it's going to be anything to like mass produce them or anything like that. I just get down these guys, so you can see here. This is really, I'm flying in every direction because I'm doing it live, so I'm just going to keep fucking talking. This is, as you can see, these chaos fellas, which will eventually be painted like this, are all sorts of a mix of different things. Like you can see the Army Man armature underneath there. Is there an Army Man handy? There he is. And then on top of it is, the hot glue gun, hot glue, which is actually really handy. And I'm very surprised how well green stuff sticks to it, because all it is, it's like, it's not even a sticky plastic. It's just it's quite a smooth surface. I'm surprised how well it sticks, so it's pretty sweet. The head is a cast from, a flipping, I think it's a Space Crusade Orc. If anybody, remembers that set from ages ago. I never bought it. I just got an Orc from somewhere, some kind of eBay lot or something. And same again, like now you can see how things are kind of are made, because it's hard to tell when things are sprayed up, especially when it's also a random materials. What feckin' anything is. That's just plastic. Toothpick and sculpting arms onto them. So it actually. Oh yeah, actually, craft control. I have actually tried that. So the blue stuff, right? What I have tried, basically shooting hot glue. That sounds a bit weird. Shooting hot glue into this mold to see if it will mold. Do you know what I mean? And then basically let it set, and then take the blue stuff off. It'll probably destroy the mold and see if it casts. And it doesn't really work. When I've tried it anyway, it didn't really work. But I feel like you could maybe do it with a simpler, maybe more flat mold, basically. But I have tried that. But the rest of the guys here, I feel like this is kind of a callback to, I made feckin', or this is like a second go of, I made something similar to these chaos guys years and years ago that were wrestling figures with like toilet tissue and stuff like that. They're small scale, bigger than this though. UV, oh yeah, Paul's right. Paul's right. Yeah, I have seen that too, Paul. That's actually a good way to do it. I see Paul Taylor saying that you could pop UV resin into this, and just set it, and it'll be absolutely spot on. I think it once the mold is crisp and clean and good, the UV resin will be really nice. I'm not sure how, UV resin will paint obviously fine, but I don't know how it like cuts and everything like that. But that's just another thing to try. Like this stuff is so much kind of fun that you could, and if it goes wrong, you just fucking melt it and it's grand. You have it new again. But no, you're right. The UV resin is good for that as well. I think it's a bit expensive for, if you were to do a load of it, it'd be quite expensive. But what was I going to say? Yeah, these guys are like a updated remake of those other kind of mutant chaosy guys. I think just making mutants is pretty freeing and really can do with anything with it. But these actually little balls as well, these blue ones. I found these. I'm just reading that there. I'm just reading your message there, Crafton. No, I meant using blue stuff on the sculpt. That was built using hot glue. Doesn't the hot glue melt the mini degrees? Oh no. So basically what I do for the blue stuff is I put, let's just say, so this is a squig face, and I will put the Vaseline in this, then mix together epoxy sculpt, put it in here, then that'll set, and then that'll be like a bit like this. It'll be this. And then all I have to do, now I'm using epoxy sculpt, literally I can just hot glue that to fucking like this, this big chicken. You know what I mean? Like, and that's another cast. So literally you're just using the epoxy sculpt then, if that's what you mean. Doesn't the hot glue on the mini no, it doesn't react badly to the blue stuff, because literally the blue stuff is only coming in contact with the epoxy sculpt. And when I've used it before, the hot glue straight into the blue stuff mold, it doesn't really work. So I have tried that, and I would say it doesn't work, but maybe I'm not doing it to the best potential. But these little balls, this was in, like, I think it was in the range, just like a craft shop in probably England and Ireland and probably other places. And it was to buy the little kind of, what would you call a potion here. But I was like, shit, they're cool. They could be used for eyeballs and all sorts of little things, little balls inside. I'm not sure if they're plastic or they're glass, but they're freaking handy. So that's where all these little boils and everything are coming from. And a lot of the weapons are fingernails and all sorts. But I'm getting it's nice practice for, doing arms and some hands. And it's not having to be completely perfect. Like this guy's actually, I'm pretty happy with this guy. He's kind of a bit random, to be honest. With his big, disgusting looking leg. Decent arms, you know what I mean? He's hitting the gym a little bit. I think this arm is a wee bit bigger than that arm, to be honest with you, but fucking like, and he doesn't have much of a shoulder here. So this is the thing, what I'm saying with chaos is very much you can fucking have a go, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. Like I'm planning on making a kind of a regiment board. You know what they used to do for like fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy, where it's like a regiment and you have like ranks and stuff like that. So that's the plan with these guys, just for a display piece, and then not, like I said before, not to be used in any particular game or anything, just for fun of making. And the face of this guy is a cast as well, and then I gave him some goofy teeth and that kind of thing. So I like this guy's stance and his big gnarly weapon. So I think he'll be a lot of fun too. He's actually ready to spray, but I didn't have him ready before I sprayed the other guys. This guy again is just random fucking bits. His face is a cast and then kind of added onto afterwards. The feet are casts from like a little toy lizard. So it's like a gecko or something. And I'm not really sure what to do in this arm. I could give him a shield, but it's a bit weedy. Like I might just give. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with that arm. Not really sure. But next one is this guy. Actually, the cast of this guy's face is from the Goblin Town goblins from the Hobbit kind of movie and game and stuff like that. And I love those minis. They're fucking disgusting. They're class. So as you can see, I haven't done that with his legs yet, but he's got this bulbous body with the hot glue and kind of sand and be all bumpy and stuff. That's a zombie arm. Pretty simple. I mean, that's a pretty of a get out of jail card. I just stuck that on. I didn't really do anything special with it. But yeah, so I'm having a bit of fun. Like obviously the anatomy isn't 100% here, but it's something. it's a practice, and he's going to be holding this. I don't know if it's going to be a big mad mace or something gnarly up here, so I can smash his enemies, I suppose. Um, I didn't realize I had so many of these done. This one actually worked pretty sweet. So this is another cast from a squig face, and I flipped it upside down, and it's actually class. Fucking gnarly looking face, and well, it's not even a face; it's just a mouth. So I'm not sure what to do with the rest of his body, but it's I think the focal point was his massive mouth for sure. This guy as well was inspired by the really old Beasts of Nurgle, I think they're called. The slug fella, I think he's like got a big smile and everything. Now, this isn't his mouth. He's not finished yet. When I was showing this to my boy, he keeps thinking that's his mouth, but it's not finished, okay? And these are all stalks from, I think they're from grapes. So the kids were eating grapes, so I nicked a few of these, and I was like, that looks cool. They look like tentacles or something, and they've got like cool texture on them. So I'll sculpt some kind of weird face or something on him, and I'll discuss some boils and stuff. So he's just a slug, basically. So these could be used as, random monsters in a fucking game at some stage, but right now they're becoming a chaos regiment. But this guy is not chaos. I'd say he's some kind of advanced space dino. Um, I think I have to wash them down because sometimes if you're using Vaseline, you want to make sure you're wiping it off your green stuff or whatever you're sculpting before you spray it, because yeah, more laser dinos, man, exactly. So I think I'm probably going to have a squad of 3 of these, because I have the T-Rex that I did ages ago, and then this guy, the raptor, and then I have another kind of Patiosaurus. What's the guy with the big long kind of horns sticking out the back of his head? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, just from that, fair play, because I don't know the name of it. Patiosopoulos or something like that. But yeah, just all little bits on the back here. I think he's spray up quite nicely, and he's going to go with my sci-fi dinos for a squad for no particular reason. What else is on the go at the moment? I've had these on the desk for a while that I need to put in the next time I bake, and they're nothing crazy, just little sculpey faces. Little pig man there. It's not really focusing too well. It's kind of got a lot of hair on it. I don't keep the most tidy desk, to be honest with you, lads. He's got a big pig face, and pigs are where it's at. And this mad looking fella, I feel like his eyes are bugging out a wee bit too much, but that's only because his eyes are those little balls I was showing you before, and he'll get cooked next time I'm doing something. In the background here, what else do we have? This armature. I don't know what's going to be. It looks very, if you look at this pose, it really screams something to me. It really screams a particular character from a particular book. And it starts with H. But if you can guess that, I mean, fair play. Just from that, it's a book series, and it's very popular, or it has been, and there's loads of movies. I feel like I'm giving it away already, but anyway, what else is on the go? Fucking oh yeah. So actually, recently I have found some level of a gaming group locally, which is surprising because I've been looking for a while on and off, and they're into Necromunda, and I made the decision. I kind of dropped some money on a gang, right? So this don't freak out. This is a legitimate bought Games Workshop product, which is unusual, yeah. And I don't know why, but I bought Van Sar, and do you know what I mean? I don't know if these guys will suit me because I've looked into it afterwards, and they're very shooty and they're very, very clean. And I'm like, fuck, I should have went for like something nasty or something you could convert the fuck out of it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these guys are, I'm gonna make them anyway. I'm gonna make a gang of some sort, be it like even 6 guys, 8 guys, or whatever. But like, they're fucking pricey. Like this box is pricey for what it is. It's just unusual. It's just so unusual as to what I usually do. It's hard to justify. I've got actually more guys up here that I keep finding. This is what happens. You half finish things. This guy is another goblin or orc, I suppose. That's a mix of different bits. I think the body was originally from Rum and Bones, which was a Cool Mini or Not Kickstarter from ages ago. How much time do I have, Paul? Not honestly that much time. That's why, well, I make time, and things kind of get half finished, as you know. But yeah, the Vansar, yeah, I bought them and I was all about kind of jumping into them, getting them sorted, but I've kind of lost my mojo on that already, which is bad considering how much they cost when, this guy costs fuck all, but there's something about him I like so much more. I don't know. But this, anyway, is a combination of a few bits and some weird kind of messed up, what would you call it? Body or autonomy, autonomy. That's surprised they got so far into the video without making them a fuck up. But anyway, that's my first one, I think. Never mind those other goes at streaming. But yeah, just a bit of yeah, Necromunda Craft Control. Necromunda's a lot of fun. You might love it. Made a blue troll team. I'm just looking at my other screen here. Oh yeah, so you used 40k orcs to the Goliath team. To be fair, that's a fucking good idea because it's not as if I don't have enough orcs, but to use them as Goliaths, that makes so much sense. Oh yeah, yeah, they'd actually be class, man. That's actually a really good idea. I think Goliaths would be more my speed potentially. This guy is another, what would you call it, Dark Soulsy looking, um, Elden Ring looking fella here with texture to the max. And I think he was built on top of a bigger scale of an army man. And a lot of this texture, same again with the, what would you call it, the dry wipes and that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure you can buy them if you don't have children. Like, I mean, you can just use them to wipe other things, but they just seem to be all in the one. And he'll be kind of painted up with the oils as well. And I think this is the way to go. This is the way I'm going to go. As you can see, they're all kind of not undercoated. They're undercoated and then like base coated, and then the oils will go over that. This guy is another guy to go with my alien. Who is it? We'll say he could go with the Raptor, and he could go with the other guys. My other sci-fi guys over here for the very little sci-fi games. If I could use these guys in Necromunda, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. But the head here is quite Star Wars looking, but it's actually from Ramshackle Games as well, and fitted on this third Ed. Would I be right in saying second Ed or third Ed Gretchen or Grot or Space Goblin? He's got a few bits on his back here, added texture and stuff. But I think he'll kind of paint up well with the oils as well. And this is another kind of feckin' kind of side project, kind of stick a head on the thing and see what happens kind of project. This is another kind of influence from Instagram as well, where it's people make miniatures from the little illustrations from, what would you call them, medieval manuscripts and that kind of thing. You've probably seen them. There's been a few Kickstarters for really nice minis of strange creatures that like someone doodled, and it's a rabbit riding a snail or something like that, and they've made like a 28mm mini of that just for the fun of it to use in whatever games. Well, I feel like that's about it, to be honest with you. I'm literally looking around this massive mess that you can't see. You can only see the small mess in front of it. I did this. I started doing this. It was literally a bauble, Christmas bauble, and I was eating an egg for breakfast, and I thought, oh, the shell looked cool, so I was breaking all these little eggshells and gluing them on with Mod Podge and stuff. And he's gonna have a face here and be some kind of like strange otherworldly like being or something, but it's like cracked, and then if it's kind of like molten, like in the Belrog and all that, where his interior of his body is molten like fucking magma and lava and all that, and then so that's a brighter color, and then the outside is the darker black, and I think that could look really cool for this. I don't know what I'll do with his mouth, but it could be some kind of end game, celestial being or something like that. His mouth was cast, or his head was cast from Buzz Lightyear, a Buzz Lightyear toy. That's literally right here. So, so nothing is safe, like, for real. And I got rid of his chin because it's too legit, like too obvious. So that's my thumbnail right there. And that's I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it'll probably go in the fucking work in progress pile for another years and years until I find it again and ask myself what was I doing. That's kind of it, I think. I think that's about it, and I don't think I have much more to say, so I'm probably gonna jump off. But I think I've learned somewhat how to stream a bit better, which is cool. Thanks to Paul in the chat. Sound for that, man. And I suppose I'll catch you in the next one. Like and sub, and let me know what you think. Good luck. Bye bye.